Alright guys, so this channel has basically been designed to cover just the building of classic cars. And I've slowly found out through some comments that you guys like tools and equipment as well, especially the stuff that it takes to build these classic cars. Well, recently I did a video on bending tubing for roll cages, and got a whole bunch of comments about what's the tubing bender mounted to. Well, if you have a garage or a workshop, you're going to slowly find that the largest commodity in your shop is space. It doesn't take long to fill up a space, especially if you're a tool junkie like me. So I built this, I'm going to call it a tool tree. It's nothing new. They've been using them in factories all over the world forever. But what this does is it allows me to put many pieces of equipment in one spot, as well as some stuff that we've made. So everybody's asking about it. I figured we'll go over it. So the tubing bender here, I have set it up on a little pin here, so you can swing this bender out into the middle of the shop, where you can get to basically be able to bend and do whatever you need to do. And it's kind of like having a Swiss Army knife of equipment. So it kind of pops and pivots out here. And same thing over here with this flat bar roller. You pull a little pin and it'll swing out here into the open where you got some space, and you're able to bend whatever flat bar that you need. Now the latest thing that I've added is a shrinking stump. Now I made this out of an old heavy duty drum, but it has a neat dish in the bottom right here, which allows you to shape sheet metal. So kind of works pretty neat. And then again, the little Swiss Army knife here, it just folds back out of the way, and you have a clear space. Also have a anvil here, a nice solid block that's part of the tree. And this thing is very heavy. It's 3/8 wall thickness, and it's filled with sand for density. We've got some other things here. Small hydraulic porta power per se, and it's hooked to a small hydraulic ram, which we use for knockouts, which is basically a fancy way of using a die to cut sheet metal. And that knockout die will punch the hole to set up for a dimple die, and it allows me to press those dimple dies, using the hydraulics. Now previously I had set up this little press here to do the dimple die, and we found that the hydraulic works much better. But this stayed here because, quite frankly, I use it for other things, like a vise, for example. And that's basically set up just from thinking outside the box. That press is actually a trailer jack, 3,500 pound trailer jack. And we mounted a cheap steering wheel on it. Allows you to pivot it and raise and lower that die. So you can now use this as a vise, or just a method of holding things in place, or pressing if you need to. On the back side here we have an English wheel, and again I've used a trailer jack. There's an old steering wheel from a boat, and it allows me to adjust the heights on the dies. The dies are mounted here on the back side. So there's several things in one tight little spot. This over here is a project I've been working on. Again, a trailer jack and a steering wheel to adjust its height. And I'm working on doing a planishing hammer. Now, I'm using an air chisel, which I have fixed inside here. And that air chisel runs off of a foot control. And for a die, at this point, I'm using a trailer hitch ball. Now, the neat thing about trailer hitch balls, they come in many different sizes, and you can change their shapes, as well as change the shape of the hammer bit. And they make quite a few different hammer bits as well. So, kind of gives you another way of making a planishing hammer. But that's my tool tree. And again, it's not so much about the equipment on it, but it's a method of putting everything in one spot. So this takes up probably 6 foot by 6 foot area in the shop, and there's, what, 8 to 10 tools on there. So just kind of another idea for you to tighten up some of your space. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. We'll see you next time. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. If you subscribe, you can start to see a lot more of this stuff. Thanks.